When anyone talks about a small SUV from Tata Motors, you know they must be talking about the Nexon. And that isn't surprising, as this entry-level compact SUV has earned quite some recognition in our market. Its popularity is so much that it plying on our Indian roads is quite a common sight these days. Now this is the latest version, which looks quite similar to its electric cousin. Now you may ask, what do you mean by that? I'll explain. The car maker has introduced this iteration during its transition to comply with BS6 norms. Along with updated engine options, it gets minor but quite tasteful changes. And this cosmetic makeover is in line with the Nexon EV that was launched last year. We will get into the details of the changes as we tell you what's good and what's not so good about this car. Everyone appreciated the Nexon for its proper SUV looks and not just being a beefed up hatchback. This continues with its 2020 model year update. The fascia is new with a reworked hood and a revised grille similar to the electric version. And if you remember, the white ceramic elements from the older model, they are now gone. Instead, there are slimmer, reshaped headlamps that integrate a tri-arrow pattern for the DRLs. Interestingly, this same pattern can be found in the lower grille, which does add to the appeal. Now onto the sides, the unique white band still runs below the window line. It adds more character to the SUV along with a new pattern for the alloy wheels. Even the tail lamps are new and give a distinct look to the Nexon. And if you compare it to its predecessor, this one has a very mature appearance. All of these changes mentioned earlier are minor but quite impactful, and they indeed make the Nexon the most good looking in its segment. Tata Motors has updated this 1.5 litre diesel engine to meet the stringent BS6 emission norms. It can be had with either a manual or automatic transmission. This turbocharged mill produces 108 bhp of power and 260 Nm of torque. Its RI claimed fuel efficiency is a nice 22.4 kmpl. What we have here comes mated to a 6-speed manual transmission. It continues to get the Eco, City and Sport driving mode, with each mode showing a considerable difference in throttle response. And be it any mode, the engine quite linearly delivers the power to the front wheels. There's a healthy amount of torque that gives it enough muscle to overtake slower moving traffic. Even out on the highway, you won't be left wanting, as it's quick enough to provide that sufficient punch while overtaking. In fact, going past a long vehicle can be done very confidently and will also be hassle-free. Its performance feels effortless. Owners are going to love it whether they are driving it in the city or taking it out on the highway. Yes, the engine does have the diesel clatter, even if Tata has done a good job of insulating this noise. Yet, go past 2000 rpm and the engine note is quite audible. Good thing is that the turbo spools up at around 1500 rpm and you don't have to constantly downshift to make progress. You will hardly be revving the motor to its 4000 rpm red line when it gets more noisy. One will mostly be ambling below the 2000 rpm mark as the SUV continues to gather speed and easily cruise at triple-digit speeds. The new age Tata cars have set a high benchmark in terms of good ride quality, and the Nexon carries forward this trait. It has been appreciated in the past for its nicely tuned suspension that now provides a ride balance for both slow and high speed rides. Though the slight underlying firmness at slow speeds can be felt only over sharp edge potholes, all occupants will still be very comfortable while traversing our unpredictable road conditions. The Nexon gets 16-inch alloys with a high-profile rubber. This paired with a ground clearance of 209 mm, it gives it quite a high riding stance. It's commendable how nicely it absorbs all thunks and thuds over broken roads and even off the road, and while doing so, it stays very stable as it does over flat sections of the highway. I expected a little more feel and feedback from its brakes, but that's just me. These ABS equipped front disc and rear drum brakes lend enough braking power for this SUV. If you've driven the previous model of the Nexon, you'll be pleasantly surprised what an improvement it is in its handling. The Nexon steering doesn't feel dead with a better feel and feedback. It weighs up consistently and responds well to the steering inputs. And despite being an SUV, you don't have to muscle around a bit. Efforts you will put in are quite minimal. In fact, similar to what you would while driving a smaller hatchback. As a result, it is quite easy to park, and thanks to its compact footprint, easy to fit into traffic gaps as well. Despite having a compact footprint, Tata engineers have managed to carve out good space inside. And this one now is a feature-packed cabin. This top-spec trim is handsomely packed with many features. On the outside, you have equipment like projector lamps, LED DRLs, LED tail lamps, etc. Then, inside there's an engine push start button, keyless entry, a touchscreen infotainment system, automatic climate control, cruise control, and so on. Remarkably, it now even gets a digital instrument cluster, tire pressure monitoring system, and nowadays a much in demand feature, a sunroof. Do note, you might find the bottle holder placement a bit odd, but then the nifty idea of incorporating a space for an umbrella is still carried over. Otherwise, space-wise too, it remains the same with fairly large supportive seats and enough space in the second row to fit in 3 individuals. Shoulder room might be tight for 3, but all occupants are pampered with sufficient legroom and headroom. Lastly, the split fold seats add more flexibility to a 350-litre boot space. It's anyway sufficient to accommodate 2 big hard case bags and about 3 soft bags. Now let's show you a new feature that the car maker has come up with. It's this express cool button. It puts the blower on max speed and simultaneously pulls the driver window down automatically. This helps in cooling the cabin faster, which will be quite a delight owing to the hot and humid climatic conditions in our country. Connected car technology is something many users have been wanting. Well, that's also taken care of through the brand's IRA technology. This is something which is now being offered by many manufacturers in new cars. The connected technology on the Tata Nexon is called the IRA, or Intelligent Real-Time Assist. This 2020 Tata Nexon is said to be the first product from the brand to receive this feature. It comes with a host of additional smart features including geofencing, intrusion alert, find my car via smartphone application, vehicle crash notification, and live vehicle diagnostics. Then there are voice commands specially developed to understand Hindi, English, and even Hinglish, which is a mix of Hindi and English, all these languages. What's more, the IRA connected technology also comes with What 3 Words, a step-by-step navigation feature. This feature goes on to analyze the driving patterns and provides feedback as well. You must be quite familiar by now about new Tata cars scoring high on safety. In fact, it started with the Nexon, as it was the first model to receive a 5-star safety rating from Global NCAP. And it's not just for the tremendous road presence, but the Nexon has been appreciated for its tough construction as well. The quality of materials used gives it a built-to-last feel. Besides, its robust underpinnings have proved its solid build quality over time. Gladly, the new one also continues to boast of a 5-star NCAP safety rating ensuring owners and prospective buyers of a very safe car. And then this is backed up by a safety suite of dual airbags, rollover mitigation, ABS with EBD, traction control and more. And though this is one of the most spacious in its segment, its cabin can see some more improvement. Tata Motors has made an effort with this makeover, but it still lacks that finesse to make it shine amongst the competition. Forget soft touch materials, but there are some of these scratchy hard plastics. Even the rough edges of some parts can be felt. Plastics in the center console could get better in terms of quality and feel. Same goes for the door pads, which don't look the best and could have had a better texture. Even these black shiny materials, they may look good, but the thing is they reflect a lot of light and with time they are going to get scratched easily. The way two different materials meet, panel gaps and quality of materials, all of these can still see some improvement. It will be a delight to have a more premium feel with better fit, finish and quality. You may say I'm nitpicking, but then many of you will agree with this. For example, the Nexon doesn't get an auto dimming mirror and it doesn't get a telescopic steering adjustment. Finding a perfect driving position is going to be difficult for both short and tall individuals. Shorter ones will increase the seat height to find the steering too close to them, and taller ones can move their seat behind, but the steering feels a little far from reach then. Also, the A-pillar is quite thick and it does restrict some frontal visibility. Additionally, the windshield at the back is a small one and is quite raked. As a result, it hinders rearward visibility and one doesn't have a very wide view. You must have realized that apart from a few niggles, there's not much to complain about this SUV. It looks good, has a huge presence, is compact, yet still the most spacious in this segment, feature-packed and quite easy to drive. Then this diesel motor is quite a potent one. Quite easy to recommend then.